Alright guys, moving on to our next story. This one, it started off really cool, then it became kind of sad, then it became kind of funny. This is a very weird mixture of events because we didn't talk about this when it first happened, obviously, so a bunch of different articles surrounding it have come out. So Tristan, all you know about this is Netflix is going to stream Evangelion. That's all you know, right? Am I?
Come
no,
on, Matthew, get in the robot.
No, I'm being serious. That's all you know, right?
Yes.
Okay. So here's I'm going to talk to Tristan about some of this. So no, because it first started off with, Netflix is going to stream Evangelion in spring 2019. Not do a remake, not make a new show. They're streaming the original Evangelion, which matters so much because no company currently has the rights to actually put it out on DVD or Blu-ray. Or, if anyone's wondering, VHS. No one has the rights to do that. Or in case...
Or Laserdisc.
Damn it, you got me. I was about to say Laserdisc.
Really?
Nor on Game Boy Advance Video.
None or Ultraviolet 4K.
Or on the PSPs, the UMDs. No one has the rights to put... We can just keep on doing this all day. We have to stop.
Or...
But seriously, though, right? Not VCDs. Not available on any of those formats. So... there is something called the Platinum Edition that was released a while ago, so long ago that it's very expensive. It's like the best version of Evangelion I think you can find for the time because it also includes the other specials as well, like the end of Evangelion and the other one, I forgot what it was called, but Rebirth. However, here's where things get very interesting. So, and in what I consider a potentially bad way, Netflix also wants to redub the entire show.
Oh, lordy.
So, of course, you're going to have people who are huge fans of the original dub come out of the woodwork and be like, whoa, is there, like, going to be an option for the old one? Because...
Nani the fuck?
Well, yeah, because think about it like this, Tristan. If Netflix was like, we're bringing Dragon Ball Z to our platform, and you're like, oh my god, that's amazing because everyone loves Dragon Ball Z, and maybe for some reason something happened to Funimation, heavens forbid, but something happened, and, Netflix gets it, you'd be like, oh my god, that's amazing, great, I get to watch it with the dub, and then all of a sudden they say, but we're having a new dub on. There's a certain sense of nostalgia that I think that Evangelion does hold that is lost without that dub there. Not 100%, because that's silly. But it is a show that was very big at the time. The dubbed version, just like many dubbed versions, I assume were much cheaper on VHS than the subtitled versions. Because I don't know if you know that, Tristan, at the time, subtitled stuff was more expensive because they assumed less people would buy them compared to dubbed. So even though dubs cost money to make, dubbed VHS tapes were actually... By the way, I have the first volume on VHS. I'm not going to go get it, but I actually have the first volume of Evangelion. I don't know if it's subbed or dubbed. I'm pretty sure it's dubbed. I got it from a thrift shop. But anyway, the point, though, is that, with this new dub, and also, they didn't really call back the original actors, which I think kind of makes sense, because why would you make a brand new dub and bring all the actors back? It's weird. You see what I mean? It's kind of weird to be like, let's do if it's like Funimation got most of the original cast to do the 1.0 movies. I forgot what they called them. I think they called them the Rebuild movies, but they got most of the original cast to come back for that because, of course, those are abridged kind of remakes of the original Evangelion with newer twists and expanding on the story after a while. But point is that Tristan, what are your thoughts on this? That's the point. Tristan, what are your thoughts? Do you think that a new dub is actually something that is worth it, especially paying that money for a new dub? Because Netflix not only is paying money to license the series indefinitely, no other streaming service has this other than Netflix. So that must have been a hell of a lot of money. And now they're putting money towards a dub. Do you really think that's going to have that much of an appeal even?
Yeah, I don't see people that are fans of the show already coming...
Other than to see it in Japanese, and if you're one of those fans, then that's fine, right? I mean, we watch a bunch of stuff in Japanese all the time, so nothing wrong with subs. That'd be silly. But, but you see where I'm coming from, though.
Yeah, I feel like people would be kind of upset about not being able to come back to what they know.
Yeah. And also, and also, by the way, sorry to interrupt, this being on a streaming service, now, we may or may not have just talked about a story where a show that was on a streaming service, let's say it rhymes with Bletclicks, a series of shows, actually, were canceled, and now they're going to be removed from the streaming service. And unless you got them on DVD, which some of these shows are available on DVD, let's say the person who, the original company that created the concepts, the name rhymes with Blarvel. So Blarvel, the shows are on DVD and Blu-ray, but if you don't get them there, then where those shows go? So in the case of Evangelion on Netflix, if Netflix decides to pull out of the anime game, they'd pull out sooner than Crunchyroll, because Crunchyroll will just have a complete collapse. They'd pull out sooner than Crunchyroll would. Like that Amazon Prime, do you remember that one? Amazon Strike?
Sure.
Do you remember Amazon Strike?
Yeah.
Like a hot minute?
I remember talking about it, yes.
Yeah. So if Netflix, let's say, pulls out, then this show disappears. Because as far as we know right now, there are no DVD distributors. It's only Netflix.
Right.
So unless Netflix puts this out on DVD, or the original company from Japan puts this out on DVD in the US, we only have Netflix. And we only have Netflix's new dub.
Yeah.
And that also seems worrisome to me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you watch this with the new dub? Or would you just go, fuck it, I'll watch it in Japanese?
Probably that one, yeah.
Yeah. Nothing against, it's funny too, because this dub could be amazing. I remember one of the voice actresses, I think it was Wendy Lee, she talked to one of the voice directors, or the voice director, for the new dub. And she was like, honestly, I know the person, it seems like it's in good hands. And I was like,
right.
Oh, that's really nice. Like, it's good to give that seal of approval, because you don't want people shitting on this dub, right?
Right.
But,
I guess, I don't know, maybe they just thought it's been quite a while.
It has. And
that, like, I never saw the original Evangelion, like, it's dub run, or it's sub, actually. But, I know there are jokes that come out of it, because I had friends who really did enjoy the series.
I must have run away.
Maybe, yeah, maybe they felt like, well, maybe it's time for to re-up this and make it a little, I don't know.
No. What's the thing is, too, is I've heard terrible things about this dub. I've only seen a few episodes. I didn't think it was so bad, but it has been a while. My thing is this. My thing is, you can't have it both ways. You can't get a show that's this old and then say, oh, but we're going to fund a new dub. What, to try to get new fans in? How good is your dub going to actually be, though? Like, unless you really sit there and you're like, no, it's a top-of-the-line dub. Like, it's not just better because it's filmed with new equipment, or it's recorded with new equipment,
Yeah.
It's a better dub if these actors are actually better than the original in some form or another. So if it's just as mediocre to some people, then what was even the point? Just getting people, because you want to try to get in older fans. Like, I would assume Evangelion, the point of bringing this in is making people who saw the show in its infancy when it first came out are like, oh my god, I don't have a Netflix subscription. Let me subscribe.
Right.
And let me watch this on Netflix. That's the point.
Johnny Young Bosch plays every Evangelion character.
First of all, that's the only reason why this should even happen. Secondly, it's the only reason why.
Oh my god.
I want him... The fact that he would be... No, the lewd scenes. The fact that he would just be doing that to himself would be fucking hilarious. Secondly...
Oh, lordy.
Secondly... Also, he would be being rude to himself as well.
Alright, you heard it here, Netflix. Get on it. That's how you're going to get Matt's subscription.
That's how you're going to get my subscription after that Marvel fiasco. So, here's the thing, right? And by the way, when I was making those jokes before about Blarvel and everything, all jokes aside, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist are on DVD and Blu-ray. So if you want to pick those up, you can actually get those on DVD and Blu-ray. Even Stranger Things, I believe, is still on DVD and Blu-ray. It's this show that is not. Right. And that becomes the problem. Now, here's where things get funny. Because, again, this is sad, of course, that if they're replacing, they're doing a brand new dub, might not even get some of the people in, it might seem like it's a waste of money. Here's what's hilarious. Apparently, Funimation was not, some people from Funimation were not happy about this.
I can imagine.
Well, because they have the rebuild movies. So I think they were, and this is just rumor, I think they were kind of waiting it out, like, wait, when Anno, the original creator, director of Evangelion, when Anno puts out 3.0, or 3 point whatever it is, he was going to, or whatever next movie, basically it seemingly felt as if, I should clarify, Anno was kind of waiting around, and then they could finally get his approval to put out the original once his movies did well enough, or he felt like he was done with his new movies. That's when the original was come out. All speculation, right? This was never confirmed as far as I know. Just people speculating online. Oh, that just like any other thing, like looking in video games, right? I've talked about this on our Those Guys Play channel. There's a new version of Crash Bandicoot out on the PS4. You know, the HD version. That's why Crash Bandicoot isn't on the PS1 Classic. Oh, the new thing is out. Why are we going to bring back the old thing? We want people to buy the new thing, right? This is my new work. Please look at my new work instead of my older work. And so Funimation did not have the rights to Evangelion at all, ever. They only had Rebuild. And then all of a sudden, Netflix announces, by the way, on Twitter, with like I think a few second GIF or a few second trailer, saying this is coming out. And here's what's really funny. Gen Fukunaga. Do you know who Gen Fukunaga is?
Yeah.
He's the president of Funimation.
Right, yeah.
No, but here's the thing. Remember, this is the president of a corporation.
Right.
And he essentially did the equivalent of taking off his earrings and being like, yo, I'm about to go. We're about to go right now. He said, Evangelion on Netflix is a disservice for anime fans.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Them's fighting words.
You want to know?
I don't blame them.
You want to know who got in the robot? Gen Fukunaga. Gen Fukunaga got in the robot.
It's like, all right, Netflix, get in your Avon right now, and let's settle this like men.
Here's some more quotes. Honestly, Netflix is willing to significantly overpay for something like Evangelion and outbid anybody by multiples, no matter what their ROI is. And ROI means return on investment. So what he's saying right there is Netflix could make $1 on this, but they don't care. They're just trying to outbid so they can get this. And then he says, I'm 100% sure that we'd have done a much better job brand managing it and turning it back into what it was. Some people would say the phrase "shots fired."
Fired.
No. This is some nuclear level deity shit. This is Final Flash level shots have been fired. All right. Literally, I don't know about you, Tristan, but this is what I heard, right? I heard, Fukunaga, no! Fukunaga, yes! That's what I heard. Ooh. Now, look, is this...
And the angel just drops out of the sky and destroys half a city.
Now, look, I will admit, I do think this is a little bit unbecoming of a CEO, but it is still so fun to see, though. Like, I have to be honest with you guys, because corporations and CEOs always have to be like, well, you know... we feel as if that, Netflix, we understand what they're doing and we fully respect them. No. Like, all of this can essentially be translated from, yes, there's a little bit of CEO speak, but you could translate the CEO speak very easily, a quick one-to-one translation into, fuck off Netflix. And it's beautiful. Now, look, nothing against Fukunaga. Obviously, we love Funimation's work. Fukunaga, actually, he used to work, I believe, if I remember correctly, he used to work for Toei, and that's how they had the in for Dragon Ball Z. Right. So that's how they actually got that in the first place. One of the reasons why, of course, they paid for it, like anyone would, but he had that in because he used to work with Toei. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section down below, but still, point though is that it just feels very, not only is it entertaining, but it just feels refreshing. That I could be like, hey, this is a CEO speaking like a human being. Right? Yes, yeah. He said ROI. Again, you have to translate some of that stuff, but like he spoke like a person would if they felt slighted. Now, some people were saying, "But why do they feel slighted?" It's probably because they were working so close with the licensors for Evangelion that they were like, "Oh, maybe we could get it." I do want to say though, we shouldn't be talking about Funimation like they are the underdog here, because they do have that Sony money. We should acknowledge it. They have that Sony money. Sony is like 70% of the company, I believe, or they put in a lot of money in, if I remember correctly, because we talked about that story a while ago. They have Sony money, so it's not like Funimation is like some scrappy underdog. But I do think that it is interesting that Fukunaga brought to the table the idea that Netflix is willing to pay so much for this. So apparently Funimation may have been in the running at this point. Like, this may have come on their radar. They were like, oh, we would like God only knows what, right? Just, I don't want to speculate because I don't want people to try to quote me on it. But, you know, millions, let's say. And maybe Netflix was like, billions. And they were like, oh, fuck. They were like, can they do that? Or they were like, hundreds of millions. And they were like,
can they do that?
Yeah.
Oh, God, they can do that.
And that's why he mentions the return on investment, because no physical... Like, look, I'm not trying to shit on Netflix either here, but no physical things are being paid for. It's only subscriptions. So if you and I watch Evangelion on Netflix, we've already paid into it, though. Yeah. We're not new subscribers. So is it really based on maybe more so the investors coming in who might be thinking, oh, Evangelion, that's a huge property. Netflix must be doing well, and then they invest more into the property? Because, you know, does it really mean much if you and I, who've already subscribed, actually watch Evangelion? There's no ads on it. There's no... you know, I don't think it comes down to our... Like with Crunchyroll, when you watch something, even if you have a subscription, some of that money gets siphoned off to the creators or to the licensors, and then Crunchyroll knows, oh, let's license more from that particular company.
Yeah.
I don't know how Netflix does its business. So all I know is that Fukunaga was upset. And that interested me. What are your thoughts on that, Tristan? He seemed to be upset.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand it. Like you said, they seemed like they were working pretty closely with the original creator to, when
rebuild.
He was done with his newer work, that they would work on trying to put out.
Can you check? I'm having some problems with my computer. Could you check if Rebuild is finished? Just type in like Evangelion like 1.0 and you can see the other movies. Because I don't know if the 3.0, whatever it was, 3.33, I don't know if that ever came out in the US, or if it did, if there's like a 4 point something that I don't know about. But yeah, as you're looking that up, yeah, so the dub situation, I don't think that's as controversial as people were thinking. I just think it's a bad decision, but I don't think it's controversial. This Fukunaga thing, controversial because, again, some would say a CEO shouldn't be speaking like that. I think it's okay, right? I think it's fine for this if he's a little ticked. But, of course, people said it was frustrating because, again, it's not like Funimation or, like, the little guys here. Like, I just bought an anime, a DVD, 2 DVDs, actually, from the anime is called, as you're looking this up, Tristan, called Raijin-O, and the company is called Anime Midstream. They've literally only licensed 2 shows, Raijin-O and BTX. Anime Midstream, they're the little guys, all right. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of the first volume of their dub, they're the little guys. Funimation, not the little guy. Let's just be real here. But either way, Tristan, how many of those have been released? As we're gonna finish this up.
So yeah. Rebuild of Evangelion, there's 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0.
Mm-hmm. Has 3.0 been released by Funimation? Aha! I was correct. There's a 4 points. It's actually 3.0 plus 1.0, and that's the 4th and final film. Tristan, thank you for looking that up. So yeah, they did release 3 in the States.
2020 in Japan. So.
Yeah, so I think that's why those rumors were abundant, like were like out there. Like, wait, why is Evangelion not out? Like the original, why is that license lapsed? Because Funimation has picked up a bunch of other licenses, like Code Geass, and then those movies came out, and then so like Funimation has picked up a bunch of licenses that usually involve brand new movies that come out to promote whatever the work is. So yeah, I think Netflix. I think Funimation, maybe not as a whole, but specifically the CEO, was just ticked off.
Yeah,
and he said it was a disservice too. Like it's very interesting because he believes that they would have marketed it better. Which I don't know if I agree with that. It's weird. I don't know if I would agree with that in the sense that I think that the anime will get lost in the shuffle on Netflix because anime does.
Right.
But I don't really understand. Like, when he says bring it back to its former glory, in my head I'm like, but it's Evangelion, though. Like, it has that name recognition.
Right.
But I do think that anything gets lost on Netflix because their user, like, Netflix's user face is really odd.
Right.
Like, I feel like I have to be searching for a thing to actually know what I can find on it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like they, I don't know, like, Funimation would have put it out there as, like, I don't know, I guess it's just a general respect. It's like they would handle a new dub or an anime coming out better than Netflix would, because, like you said, it's probably just going to get lost.
Yeah, so I think maybe Fukunaga's thinking, like,
and like a series,
yeah.
and a series like this, like, as big as Avon is, it's like, he probably feels like it deserves better than that. Which,
I mean, he also
you could argue yes or no.
I mean, you could say it would also do better for his pocket. I mean, it's Evangelion. Jesus, that would have given a lot of money to Funimation. Yeah. My question is this: does Funimation have their own con in Texas, or is it just the Dragon Ball Z con?
I'm not sure.
I'm only asking because as we officially wrap this up, we always say that. But as we officially wrap this up, I'm wondering if they would literally be like, "Oh, if we have a con," or we would talk to people that we know in the convention scene, and Evangelion would be everywhere. Like, they're thinking about, or like Funaga's thinking about, like, how not only would it be out on DVD and Blu-ray, and people could get it on multiple platforms, but also the fact that it would also be available on, you know, like, at a convention, they'd be showing the first episode or something, instead of this getting just, you know, locked away on Netflix.
Yeah.
Which I think I agree with him in that respect, but at the end of the day, it is Evangelion, and also at the end of the day, which I say a lot, I would like to hear what you guys have to think. Do you guys think that Evangelion is Evangelion, so who cares? Like, yeah, anyone will look it up on Netflix if they want to, or do you think that it might slip through the cracks? Also want to hear what you guys think about, not only about what Fukunaga said, but also about Netflix even picking this up in the first place, and about that new dub. Alright, so, would love to hear what you guys have to say about all of this in the comment section down below.